If you try to play God, you'll end up face to face with the devil. He was born in the slums of Medellín, a place of mud houses, half-naked children, and where food was considered a luxury. His mother was a teacher. His father was a farmer. But little Pablo, he did not accept the home he was born into. At a young age, he realized something. This world worshipped power, and those who possessed that power could do whatever they wanted. For Pablo, life was not a game. It was a battlefield. The rules were not fair, so he decided to write his own rules. At 16, he forged diplomas. At 17, he started stealing cars. At 20, he kidnapped a man, demanded ransom, and released him. But he saw this. These were small fish. The real ocean was somewhere else entirely. In the mid-1970s, cocaine was still considered new in Colombia. But for America, it was a dream. It was the rich man's powder. It had become Wall Street's morning coffee. And Pablo saw that desire. It was such a desire that it made its sustainer a god and its opponent a slave. When Pablo founded the Medellín Cartel, no one in the world knew his name. But within just 5 years, everyone was using his money and fearing his death. Every day, 15 tons of cocaine entered the U.S. The money earned reached $400 million a week. There was so much cash that it was buried in plastic packaging to prevent it from deteriorating. The irony is this: he had so much money that $2 billion a year was eaten by rats, and he didn't care. Because his goal wasn't to be rich, it was to be the man who defined wealth. Pablo wasn't just a baron. He created a myth. He built houses in neighborhoods. He distributed money to the poor. He gave scholarships to children. He built soccer fields and schools. He gave interviews to journalists. He smiled at the cameras. And the Colombian people loved him because he was doing what the state wasn't doing. But there was one thing the people forgot. The devil also does good if he wants your heart. He was no longer just a smuggler. He had become a state within a state. Courts operated on bribes. Police took orders. Prosecutors were disappearing. And Pablo controlled everything with a single phrase: Plata o Plomo, money or bullets. The choice was simple, but the result was always the same. Pablo won. In 1982, he became a member of parliament. He appeared on camera and acted like a man of the state. But behind the scenes, he was still the head of the cartel. Files were opened. The past was exposed. And he was expelled from parliament. Pablo made another decision. I don't need to join the state. I'll buy the state. And this sentence marked the beginning of Colombia's dark age. Hundreds of judges were killed. Newspapers were silenced. Ministers were removed from office. Police chiefs fell victim to assassination. Justice collapsed. The law lost its authority. And the people? They were still praying to Pablo. Because they had homes, they had bread. But what they didn't see was this: that bread was kneaded with blood. In 1991, Pablo surrendered, but the prison he surrendered to was the palace he had built himself. Its name was La Catedral. There were walls, yes, but inside there was a bar, a waterfall, a pool table, women. He entertained his men through parties. He was not a prisoner. He was just a king living elsewhere. And the Colombian people remained silent once again, because they were still afraid, because they were still grateful. But the world was now watching Pablo, the CIA, the DEA, the Colombian army, rival cartels, all united under a single goal. Escobar must be eliminated. Leaks began within the cartel. Men loyal to one another were bought off one by one. Some talked, some fled, some were killed. Pablo escaped from La Catedral. Escape was an unfamiliar thing for him, because for a lifetime he had been the man everyone fled to. Now, he was the one fleeing, at night in the forest, during the day in the city, giving orders over the radio, changing locations. But with every step, he grew more desperate. One day, he burned $2 million to keep his daughter warm, because when you're on the run, wealth becomes meaningless. December 2nd, 1993. He was hiding on a rooftop in Medellín. He called his son on the phone. His voice was calm. He was laughing. He still believed he hadn't been defeated. But before the conversation ended, a bullet entered his jaw. It exited the back of his head. He fell to the ground. The police arrived. Photos were taken. And God died. Or the man who thought he was God. His death did not end the cartels. They just changed their names. The violence did not decrease. It just changed direction. But Pablo's influence still lingers. Movies, TV shows, books. Some declared him a hero, some a monster, some still pray to him. Because Pablo Escobar was not just a criminal. He was a symbol of fear, desire, greed, and power. And that's why he still lives on. Some men are born to change the world. Others buy it. Pablo Escobar was the man who bought the world. The price was paid in blood, but his name will never be forgotten.